To do the lettering applique like it's been asked for, I'm going to right click and then we'll go with Bernina, our favorite subject. And it looked like you were trying to do a kind of an athletic block. Seems like they call it Varsity. And there is one built in. Let's get this to size. I mean, it couldn't be any easier than that. And let's do our height. Maybe 50 millimeters. It's about 2 inches. And what does that put our, with everything selected, puts our width, let me switch. That's plenty large for the front of the shirt. So if we look at it in real view, and you can actually elongate these. But what that's going to give you is a placement, attack, and then the cover stitch. Now we've got some odd places here. And so to get those to sew nicer, let's come to our end. Oh, it's all grouped. Control, ungroup. And that's some funny things there I would not like. I was avoiding to break it apart, but I think we're going to have to, because that's just the nature of the applique. And those were fine. It's when it gets to the end that it's funny. I'm going to touch S so it takes my stitches away and I just see where the stitch lines are. So this one I'm going to break apart to get to the individual letters. And I'm going to hide everything. Unhide this one. Touch S again so that these stitches come up for us. And we will go ahead and break that apart because I can see that our stitch angles are not coming up for us. And so then when I do that, I'm going to first remove stitch angles. Sometimes that's enough to clear things up, and it appears that it did. If you want to tweak it further, you can spend time doing that. And so on the end, this would be the cover. Let's unhide that one so we can work with it. If I touch H, where the trouble is in these, because these corners are a very tight angle. These angles that are 90 degrees, those work out nicely, but these that are tight, and so sometimes you can add another point and then manipulate these. And I'm not crazy about that, so I'm going to undo and undo again to get rid of the point that I made. And remove angles is not available to us. Can we break it apart again? We can. The only thing about breaking these apart now is if I move lines, I have to apply it to each segment, the placement, the tack down, and the cover. The advantage of keeping everything when you can in applique is not to break them apart. But there's no way I want to sew these long stitches. If I touch T on my keyboard, I can get an idea that that is just not going to sew nicely. And so by touching this, what happens when I just remove? That's not bad, although it gets muddy through here. Let's back up from that, and let's take it a segment at a time. This one, I'm going to touch H. Let's get rid of that one. I think I was on the wrong one. What's going on? Ah, now we're getting down to some business we can change. Okay. So more than likely we're going to want this. If we delete these, and add some, it's not happy with that. I hit escape to make it stop. It's part of the problem there. Get rid of that. I think if we bring these down, I'm using my arrow key. That's going to help that some. But you can see what I'm saying, that if you get too carried away, you're going to have to move all of the components to make this work out. I don't like how that's turning. Let's see if I can sneak one in right there. Let's try again. Let's unhide all. But basically, if you get one in the top stitch to be like you'd want, then you would just copy and paste it here and get rid of the old one. Everything else looks pretty good on that built-in font. And I'll end this video and then show you the way that I normally go about making an applique. As I mentioned, this one is built into the software. It's just because of the size that I've chosen, it's going to take a little tweaking to get it to sew nicely.